After I fractured my calf, the first thing I did was call Margarita. It took her a long time to reply, and all she said was, busy. The nurse watched me struggling to limp up and down handling the paperwork, confused. Don't you have any family with you? I was just about to say my girlfriend was busy with work when I saw her childhood best friend post an update. Thanks to Rita for helping me put together such an amazing birthday surprise. Being with everyone feels great. Guess who didn't get invited? In the photo, all our mutual friends had gathered in a hall. Calvin had his arm around Margarita, smiling brightly at the camera. Margarita didn't push him away. She simply leaned into his arms and flashed a peace sign. I didn't argue. I didn't make a scene. After Margarita got home, I calmly invited her to watch a movie, and when she tried to explain, I stopped her. I know, but the show ends here. It took her a long moment to realize. We had broken up. Chapter 1. To make it back in time for my 5-year anniversary with Margarita, I rushed and ended up falling down the stairs. My first instinct was to call her to pick me up, but she didn't answer. After a long while, she only replied with, busy. I've never been the type to interrupt her work, so I handled everything alone, limping around, completing the procedures, getting my leg put in a cast, until I saw Calvin's post. The crutch in my hand fell to the ground with a loud clack. Looking at the photo of Calvin and Margarita pressed close together, smiling and flashing peace signs at the camera, I went silent for a moment. Then I left a comment underneath, wishing you two a lifetime of happiness. While I was at home packing my things, Margarita came back. What's with your passive-aggressive comment under Cal's post? I told you I was just helping him celebrate his birthday. Now everyone's upset because of you. Are you satisfied? I turned to her. Is that so? Then I'm sorry. I'll delete it right away. She froze for a second. In the past, at times like this, I would have pulled out photos of her and Calvin being close and demanded an explanation, whether it was really just a birthday, or if there was something more going on. She was already used to dealing with that version of me. Seeing me stay silent, she grew impatient and shoved me lightly. So what if you weren't invited? Even if you went, would you really be happy? It was someone else's special day, and you. Her hand suddenly stopped, because when she pushed me, I stumbled and fell onto the sofa. That's when she noticed the cast on my leg. Patrick. She hurried to help me up, but I had already grabbed my crutch and shook my head. No need. Thanks. After saying that, I picked up the scattered items and put them back into the box. She tried to help, but I raised my hand to stop her. I can handle it myself. For several whole minutes, I didn't look back at her even once. The old me would never have had the heart to ignore her like that, even though she had always ignored me. Patrick. She spoke again, sounding displeased. What is it? I continued folding my clothes. Is there something you can't just say out loud? I'm fine, Patrick. Margarita rarely found herself at a loss for words, but now she clenched her teeth tightly. I smiled. Oh, you mean the birthday party? It's fine. I would have been unhappy anyway. It makes sense you didn't tell me. She was stunned. I lowered my head and continued rummaging through the box. She grabbed me and turned me around, her tone impatient. If you want to argue, just say it. Don't act like this. Why would I argue? I smiled and took out 2 movie tickets from the box. I was just looking for these, the 2 tickets I got earlier. We said we'd watch it together. Let's go now. She paused. After a moment of surprise, the tension in her furrowed brows eased slightly. You're really not angry? I shook my head. I was being unreasonable before. Let's not bring this up again. Let's just enjoy the movie. Okay. She hesitated, and when she looked at me, there seemed to be a fleeting trace of guilt in her eyes. She reached out to support me. Okay. No need to hold me. I have a crutch. No, I'm not at ease. I shook my head helplessly. Come on. I climbed upstairs with just one crutch. Still not convinced. She pouted slightly. I'm not. Why didn't you tell me earlier that you were hurt, and even handled everything alone? I let out a soft laugh, but didn't answer. Chapter 2. In the movie theater, Margarita's phone kept vibrating. I glanced at her. On the lit-up screen, the caller ID photo was the birthday picture she had just taken with Calvin. Contact name, Cal. She lowered her head and declined the call. Her long, fair fingers gently covered the back of my hand and gave it a soft squeeze, as if to reassure me not to worry. I smiled faintly and turned back to the movie, but the phone started vibrating again. Margarita instinctively moved her finger toward the decline button. Then a message came in. Rita, if you don't come, I'm really going to die. This was Calvin's usual trick. He had depression. Whenever he had an episode, he would act self-destructively. Only Margarita could calm him down. At first, I really did let Margarita go help him, but later, I realized Calvin didn't actually dare to hurt himself, so I stopped allowing Margarita to go. That time, she slapped me across the face without hesitation. Furious. He's a patient. Why are you, a perfectly healthy person, competing with someone who's sick? After saying that, she left me alone at home. I sat in front of my birthday cake by myself until dawn. Sure enough, Margarita's hand paused on the decline button. She looked up and met my eyes. Patrick, it's fine. I interrupted her, took her phone, answered the call, and handed it back to her. Go. Just come back soon. She looked at me deeply, then leaned in and left a lipstick mark on my face before getting up and walking out to take the call. Chapter 3. After the 2-hour movie ended, Margarita still hadn't returned. With my limited mobility, one of my buddies nearby noticed and helped me out. Standing by the street, I didn't see Margarita anywhere. Even the car was gone. The winter night wind was cold. I leaned against a street lamp and tightened my coat. My phone vibrated. Calvin had posted another update. In the photo, one of his hands was being gently held by a long, fair hand, while the other hand carefully applied ointment to a small scrape on his finger with a cotton swab. Caption: It's just a tiny scrape, but Rita is so worried she even skipped the movie just to treat it for me. Who wouldn't want to marry a woman like this? In the past, I would have probably taken a cab straight there and confronted Margarita, why she left someone with a fractured leg alone in the theater just for her childhood best friend's minor scratch. But now, I simply tapped like and unfollowed him. Chapter 4. Just as I opened the ride-hailing app, Margarita's car pulled up in front of me. Patrick, why did you come out? She got out of the car, about to help me. I stepped back. The movie's over. She froze for a moment. Oh, then, we can catch the next showing. I've already handled everything. I smiled and shook my head. No need. It's already over. It's already over. She lifted her gaze and looked at me. Then, as if realizing something, she nodded. Right, it's a bit late now. We can watch it another time. I'll take you home. I raised my phone slightly. No need. I've already called a car. I'm already here. Just cancel it. I shook my head, still smiling gently. Do you know why I wanted to watch a movie with you today? Why? Because I promised you that on our 5th anniversary, I'd watch a movie with you. Margarita paused, as if something clicked in her mind. Her brows furrowed slightly. I was just afraid something might really happen to him. You know, he has depression. I know. I'm not blaming you. I interrupted her, still smiling. I've been thinking these past couple of days. Neither of us did anything wrong. We're just not right for each other. Margarita's outstretched hand froze midair. When she spoke again, her voice trembled. What did you say? Chapter 5. Rita, I know that in your eyes. He's sick and needs you. So going to him is the right thing to do. I also know there's nothing going on between you two, but I just can't accept it. My tone was calm. I've tried to change you, and I've tried to convince myself, but it's been 5 years, and neither of us has changed. So, let's break up. Rita, what are you talking about? Margarita reached out to me, but I took another step back. My ride is almost here. I'll go wait for it. Patrick. She grabbed me in a hurry, her voice catching for a brief moment. Stop this, Patrick. There's really nothing between me and him. I know. I nodded lightly. I just can't accept living like this anymore. She took a shaky breath. Why you don't love me anymore, do you? This time, I was the one who paused. After thinking for a moment, I let out a soft sigh. How could I not love you? It's been 5 years. It's just that when I think about us getting married, I can already imagine how many times we'd argue because of Calvin. Even if we make up afterward, that's not the kind of life I want to live. I gently removed her hand from my arm. So instead of waiting until we become bitter and unrecognizable to each other, let's stop here. At least this way, when we think of each other in the future, it'll still be something beautiful. There seemed to be tears glimmering in Margarita's eyes, but she forced a smile and shook her head, grabbing my hand again. Don't joke like this, Patrick. I prepared a surprise for our 5th anniversary. It's at home. I'm not joking. I looked at her. I'm not going back home. I've already set my location to a friend's place. Didn't you notice I was packing when you came back earlier? The movers should have already taken my things there by now. I'll be moving into a new place soon. Aren't you going to congratulate me? There was a shimmer in her eyes, and she curled her lips slightly. Congratulate you for what? For breaking up with me on our 5th anniversary. Don't say it like that. This might not be a bad thing. Oh, right. I took out a Doraemon keychain from my pocket and handed it to her. The theater gave out souvenirs. Here, one for you. She clenched the keychain together with my hand, the corners of her eyes reddening even more under the pale streetlight. I was wrong. I'll change. I looked at her, a little surprised. This is the first time you've admitted you were wrong. In the past, no matter how many times I argued with her about Calvin, she would only watch me finish coldly and then say, so in your eyes, helping a sick person is something so disgraceful. If there really was something between us, do you think you'd still even have a place in my life? Every single time, I was the one who backed down first, but now, she held my hand tightly. I'll change, I promise. I sighed. If change were really possible, we wouldn't be here today. I've tried countless times over the past 5 years, A taxi turned the corner, its headlights illuminating both of us. I stepped back. I should go. She quickly grabbed me again. Do you not believe me? I can prove it. No, I believe you, I answered honestly. It's just that I can't afford the risk of you breaking that promise and us ending up back where we started, or even worse. Let's stop here. If we keep going, we'll only end up hating each other. Little by little, I pulled my hand out of hers, leaving only the Doraemon keychain in her palm. I've fulfilled the promise I made to you. Standing by the taxi, I turned back to look at her, smiled, and gave a small wave. Thank you for these 5 years. Chapter 6. I originally thought Margarita would have something to say to me afterward, but unexpectedly, she didn't contact me for an entire week. I let out a small sigh of relief. It seemed my worry about her being upset had been unnecessary, until one day, at a gathering with friends, I saw Margarita again after quite some time. Sitting beside her was none other than Calvin. I looked at my buddy Bruno. Why didn't you tell me she'd be here? Bruno froze for a moment. I didn't know she'd show up either. Oh, Patrick's here too. Calvin was the first to notice me. He walked over with a glass in hand. Haven't seen you in a while. Patrick, thought you were mad at me. Come on, bro, cheers. Just as his glass was about to touch mine, a long, fair hand beat him to it and lightly tapped the rim of my glass first. I looked up. Margarita was staring at me, her voice cold. He just finished treatment. He shouldn't be drinking. Don't pressure him. Bruno got angry. What do you mean we're pressuring him? It was clearly, got it, a mess. Margarita. I stopped Bruno from arguing and gave her a slight nod. Margarita's brows furrowed almost imperceptibly. Rita, the doctor didn't say I can't drink at all. It's fine. Calvin smiled and ruffled her hair. Just like before, Margarita lightly punched his chest, sounding annoyed. No, I'm not comfortable with that. Calvin's smile deepened, and he glanced at me, seemingly on purpose. As the two of them turned away, Margarita seemed to glance back casually. Our eyes met. Then she tightly held Calvin's hand, just like she used to do with me. Chapter 7. Oh wow, isn't this the golden couple we've all been waiting for? What's this? Rita finally willing to come out with Calvin today? One of Margarita's friends exclaimed excitedly. Calvin laughed. Hey, don't talk nonsense. The other girls chimed in. Oh please, everyone knows about you two. Perfect match. Childhood sweethearts. Honestly, I don't know why Rita always used to go out with someone else. You two are clearly the better match. So Rita finally came to her senses. Did the guy at home stop controlling you? Margarita's fingers tightened slightly around her glass. She glanced in my direction, the corner of her lips lifting. Nothing like that. I just came out because I felt like it. We're basically family anyway. Calvin smiled and ruffled her hair again. Margarita smiled too, casting me a casual glance. Only then did the other girls seem to notice me as well. Someone whispered, why is he here too? It's fine. He's completely obsessed with Rita, a total simp at most. He'll just make a fuss. I raised my glass toward Margarita. Then let me wish the two of you a happy future together. With that, I downed the drink in one go and turned to leave with Bruno. At that moment, Margarita's expression darkened in a way that was almost frightening. Chapter 8. Because of an unexpected presence, Bruno and I only stayed for a short while before planning to leave. On my way out of the restroom, passing by a private room, I suddenly heard a familiar voice. Don't treat him like that again. This is the last time. Then, the voice of one of Margarita's friends I had just heard earlier followed. Why, Rita, didn't you hate being controlled by him the most? We were just helping you get back at him this time. No need, Rita. Don't tell me you actually like him controlling you. There was a brief silence in the room. Her friend sounded a little agitated. But Rita, there's an 80% chance he only brought up breaking up to threaten you. You can't fall for it right now. Maybe after a while he won't be able to hold out anymore. Besides, you and Cal aren't exactly impossible either. Enough. Margarita cut her off sharply. The other girl's tone softened cautiously. Rita, actually, Cal, I said enough. Margarita's voice rose. I didn't listen any further. I turned and went downstairs to wait for Bruno. After standing by the street for a while, Bruno didn't show up. Instead, Margarita did. Chapter 9. Hearing footsteps behind me, I turned around. You're here? But when I saw Margarita, I froze for a moment. Rita. The next second, she suddenly rushed forward and hugged me tightly. Her voice came muffled against my chest. I'm sorry. I lied to you earlier. I shouldn't have listened to their terrible advice and ignored you for 5 days. I was actually going crazy. I gently pushed her away a little. Honestly, if you really didn't want to contact me, I'd feel more at ease. Patrick. She seemed unwilling to let go even a little. Is it really impossible to go back to how things were? I gave a soft smile. I'm insecure, timid, and hopelessly love-struck, but I do have one good trait. That is, once I make a decision, I never turn back. After I said that, The light in Margarita's eyes seemed to dim. Bruno's voice came from nearby. Patrick, Margarita, what's going on here? You finally showed up. I gently pushed Margarita away. Her eyes were red, her gaze fixed on me without wavering. Patrick, I waved at her. Let's leave it here. Take care. That day, as the car drove far away, I turned back for one last look. She seemed to still be standing there. Chapter 10. Margarita started contacting me again. There was no heartbreak or desperation, just simple greetings and holiday wishes. Like friends. Once we shifted from being lovers to friends, life suddenly had far fewer arguments. If we had never taken that step back then, we might have been best friends now. Until one day, she showed up downstairs at my office. It's so cold, why are you wearing so little? Wrapped in a thick down jacket, I came downstairs. She stood in the winter snow, wearing the pink coat I had bought for her, one hand in her pocket, the other holding a red gift box. You're still wearing this? I froze for a moment. She just smiled. I'm used to it. Too lazy to change. This is for you. A gold watch. I was shocked when I opened the box and immediately pushed it back. Why are you giving me this? I don't want it. My parents came to City A to visit us. They prepared it for you. I froze. They don't know we broke up. She didn't answer. You didn't tell them. Margarita sighed. How am I supposed to tell them? My mom is holding on by a thread, just to see me get married and have children. I paused. Margarita's mother was seriously ill. Even though Margarita and I argued often, her parents had always taken my side, especially the first time I met them, when they learned I had lost my parents at a young age. Her mother treated me like her own son. I lowered my head and looked at the Casio watch on my wrist. It was the one her mother bought me the first time we met. So, you're trying to use your parents to pressure me into getting back together with you, right? Margarita froze. No, I just haven't figured out how to tell them yet. I won't force you, just take this for now. Think of it as helping me comfort her. Okay. No, we're already over. I'm begging you. Margarita grabbed my arm, the corners of her eyes reddening. She doesn't have much time left. Just keep up the act until she's gone. I hesitated. Patrick. I clenched my teeth. Fine. I'll return it to you afterward. Margarita paused, then nodded. Okay. Chapter 11. Margarita used my busy work schedule as an excuse to brush her mother off. But there was no way to hide it during the New Year holiday. So Margarita came to pick me up. The moment the door opened, familiar laughter filled my ears. Really? Rita used to do that when she was little. Even I didn't know that. Ha ha ha. Calvin was laughing, holding Auntie's hand as they chatted happily. They both looked up. Ah, Rita's here. We've been waiting for you. Calvin immediately stood up and pulled Margarita into a hug. Didn't expect me to come celebrate New Year with you. Huh? Surprise. Unexpected. Margarita shot me a quick glance and quickly pushed him away. Why are you here? Uncle spoke with a smile. Cal hasn't been home in a long time. His father asked me to bring him something, so he stayed for dinner. Margarita was about to say something else, but Calvin was already eager. I'll cook. I bought a lot of your favorite dishes. No need. You should go back. Margarita reached out to stop him, but Calvin had already gone into the kitchen. Guess it's the new year. Everyone's full of energy. I smiled lightly. Margarita's expression didn't look too good. Sorry. I didn't expect him to be here. It's fine. The more people, the livelier it is. I smiled at her, then carried the gifts over to Auntie. Chapter 12. Oh, Patrick, didn't you wear the watch Mom bought you? Seeing my bare wrist, Auntie froze for a moment. Don't you like it? Should Mom take you out to pick another one now? I hurriedly waved my hands. No, it's just too valuable. I can't bear to wear it. She let out a sigh of relief. What's there to be afraid of? It's just a small pre-wedding gift from us. When you and Rita get married, there'll be even better ones. Wear it next time. I just smiled. Auntie's thin hand gently held mine. Patrick, how about we move the wedding date earlier? Her frail body sat on the sofa. Though her eyes were clouded by illness, the light in them hadn't dimmed at all. Margarita spoke for me. When should we move it to? Half a month from now. Okay. I froze. A tear slid down Auntie's eye. The doctor said, my condition isn't good. If it's any later, I'm afraid I won't get to see it. Mom. My eyes widened. Patrick, please? Looking at the pleading expression on her face, the words at the tip of my tongue faltered. I lifted my eyes and looked at Margarita. She, too, was looking at me with a trace of hope. Don't worry, your mom and I treat you like our own son. We won't ask for a single cent of bride price. We'll even prepare a dowry. Uncle spoke up. Margarita nodded. It's not about the bride price, Dad, Mom, A cry suddenly came from the kitchen. I rushed over. Calvin had fallen to the ground. A small cut had opened on the pad of his finger, and beads of blood were forming. Cal. Margarita frowned and stepped forward to help him up. Calvin naturally leaned against her. Sorry, Rita. I was trying to cut vegetables. but I accidentally cut my finger. I glanced at his fingertip. The cut was clean, almost as if he had deliberately pressed the blade against it. In the past, I would have exposed him on the spot, but now, I simply smiled. "I'll get you a bandage." Hiss. Calvin suddenly collapsed again. Almost at the same time, Margarita hurriedly caught him in her arms. Chapter 13. I froze for a moment. Calvin frowned tightly. Hiss. "I feel awful. Rita, can you take me to the hospital?" Margarita paused, then turned to look at me. "Cal faints at the sight of blood." I nodded. "Oh, then take him to the hospital." Calvin leaned against Margarita. "I feel terrible." Rita. At that moment, Margarita's body stiffened slightly. Then she held him even closer, glancing at me. "Patrick, this is just a special situation." I turned back. "I know. Go ahead, don't delay his treatment." She hesitated. As she passed by me, she looked up at me. "I'll leave things at home to you." I bent down to pick up the kitchen knife and nodded. "You won't." "I know. I won't say anything." She looked at me deeply one more time before turning and leaving. I walked into the living room and smiled at Uncle and Auntie. "Cal got hurt. I'll handle the cooking tonight, you just relax and wait." Without giving them a chance to bring up the wedding date again, I turned around and closed the kitchen door. Chapter 14. That night, Margarita didn't come back. I stayed with her parents on the couch, listening to the first chime of the new year. Auntie turned to look at me. "Patrick, let's get you two married this year." "Okay." I sat cross-legged, watching the fireworks outside the window. My phone lay beside me. On it was a post Calvin had just made. The photo showed Margarita carefully putting a bandage on his finger. The caption read, "The first chime of the new year belongs only to her and me." I smiled at Auntie. The fireworks cast a warm glow across my face. Okay. Chapter 15. The day I went back to work, Margarita returned. Since Auntie had trouble moving around, I only let Margarita drive me. Sitting in the passenger seat, she kept glancing at me through the mirror. I looked up. "What is it? You keep looking at me. Mom said you agreed to get married." "Oh." I rested my head on my hand and looked out the window. I lied to her. Margarita's grip on the steering wheel tightened. "I left the gold watch under the bed. Don't forget to take it when you go back." When the car stopped downstairs at my company, she slumped back against the seat, as if all her strength had been drained. Even her voice sounded hollow. "What do I have to do for you to forgive me? Why would I need to forgive you?" I smiled. "I've already said it. You and I didn't do anything wrong. We're just not compatible." She looked at me, her eyes red. "Are you upset that I didn't spend New Year's with you?" I didn't expect that after Calvin went to the hospital, they found another infection that needed immediate treatment. That's exactly why I said neither of us is wrong. I nodded. "You think your childhood best friend needs your help, that's understandable. But I'm not someone who can stand in your shoes and truly relate to that. I'm just someone who can't accept his girlfriend prioritizing another man. 4 or 5 years, we tried to change, but we never succeeded. And even if there was a tiny bit of hope, what happened on New Year's proved that even that hope doesn't exist." I smiled and shook my head. "So, let's just be friends. It's better this way." "Patrick." She leaned slightly closer to me, but I cut her off. "I'm getting promoted." She froze. I smiled at her. "My annual salary will be in the millions now. I'm planning to focus on my career for the next few years." "Go on, congratulate me." The redness at the corners of her eyes deepened, her breathing trembling. The hand she had reached out slowly withdrew. "Congratulations." "Thanks." I opened the car door. "Honestly, I think Calvin's not bad. I may not like him, but he's sincere about you. If you do end up marrying him, invite me. I'll give you a big wedding gift." "Stop." Her voice was weak. I paused for a moment, then smiled faintly. "Then, goodbye." Chapter 16. For a long time, Margarita didn't contact me. When she finally did, I thought she was going to tell me about her good news with Calvin. But what I heard instead was her slightly hoarse voice. "I'm leaving. Won't you come see me?" I froze. "Where are you?" "Downstairs at your office." She was still wearing that pink coat. I smiled and teased lightly. "It hasn't been that long since New Year. Aren't you cold wearing that?" There were faint dark circles under her eyes. She gave a faint smile. "I'm fine." I tightened my down jacket. "Where are you going?" "City B." I froze. "Why? If you stay at your current job, you could be earning tens of millions a year in a few years." She shook her head. "I don't want to stay anymore." "Why?" She looked at me deeply. "You know why." I paused, then lowered my head and sighed. "I think you should really think it through." She smiled. "Do you want me to stay?" I froze for a moment. There was a faint trace of hope in her gaze. "If you tell me to stay, I will." I let out a small laugh. "You've misunderstood. I told you to think it through because I don't want you to give up such a great career opportunity because of me. I don't want you to go to City B, run into problems with work, and then blame me for ruining your future." Her smile turned bitter as she shook her head. I wouldn't. It has nothing to do with you. I just want to take my parents back to our hometown. My mom, you know. If I go back, I can spend more time with her. I nodded. As long as you've thought it through, then I wish you all the best. After saying that, I turned and walked away. Patrick, won't you come see me off when I leave? Without turning back, I replied. Nope. Really not coming? Nope, I'm busy. From behind me came a bitter, hollow laugh. Chapter 17. On the day Margarita left, I watched her walk toward the boarding gate. As if sensing something, she suddenly turned back. Then she hurried toward me, a flash of surprise crossing her face. You came. Didn't you say you wouldn't? I kept my hands in my pockets. We've known each other for years. Seeing you off isn't a big deal. Here, this is for you. I slipped an envelope into the pocket of her pink coat. My savings over the years. Use it to buy something for your parents. She grabbed my hand, stopping me. I've already wronged you for so many years. How can I take your money? It's not for you. I lightly tapped her hand. For these past 5 years, your parents have taken great care of me. I'll always be grateful to them. Even though we're over, I'll never forget them. If there's anything I can help with, I will. My voice caught slightly. I asked some doctors about Auntie's condition. Anyway, give it another try. I know some doctors in City B. If you need help, I'll do everything I can. At the mention of her mother, the redness in Margarita's eyes deepened. She held the envelope tightly, her voice slightly nasal. Okay. For a moment, neither of us spoke. I slipped my hand into my pocket and held my phone. You had a falling out with Calvin. She paused. I cut him off. No wonder. I took out my phone. He's been calling me nonstop, like hundreds of times a day, and sending messages one after another, saying if I don't give you back, he's going to kill himself. Margarita smiled helplessly. He won't. And even if he would, a trace of despair flickered in her eyes. What does that have to do with me? We were never supposed to cross that line in the first place. I froze for a moment, then laughed. Is this your confession? She smiled at me and nodded. But it's too late, isn't it? I nodded. There seemed to be tears shimmering in her eyes. I glanced at the departure board and gently pushed her. It's time. Go on. Can I have a hug? No. I smiled. Go. Don't make this harder. I'm not making trouble, just one hug. Okay. Her voice was full of caution, mixed with endless hope and grievance. Our eyes met. In that instant, it felt as if all her pain and hope poured straight into my chest. For some reason, my eyes stung slightly. I forced a smile and pushed her harder. Don't, just go. If you keep this up, I'm afraid I might. Afraid of what? Her eyes were red. She stepped closer. She opened her arms, just like countless times before, about to fall into my embrace. I could already smell the faint scent on her. Almost unconsciously, I raised my hands too, but the moment she was about to touch me, I pushed her away, turned around, and walked off in long strides. Patrick. Her voice called out behind me. I quickened my pace, faster and faster, until I was almost running. As I walked out of the airport, a plane took off behind me. I touched the corner of my eye. It felt slightly damp. After that, for a long time, we had no news of each other. Chapter 18. After Auntie passed away, I went alone to visit her grave. Standing in front of the tombstone, I subconsciously wanted to turn around, but when I did, there was no one there. As I was leaving, a familiar car was parked not far behind mine. I turned my head. A familiar figure leaned against the car. She was wearing a pink coat that looked all too familiar. Standing sideways, seemingly looking toward the grave, I rubbed my eyes. In the end, I got back into my car and drove away. After I returned, that long silent contact sent me a message. You came. Yeah. She didn't reply again. While packing my clothes, I suddenly found a piece of paper in my pocket. I didn't remember when I had put it there. The ink had long since bled, making it impossible to read. Maybe it was just an old note I had written to myself. I crumpled it up and threw it into the trash. Work had been getting busier and busier anyway. From now on, things like reminders, I'd leave them to my secretary. Chapter 19. Margarita's POV. The day he came to visit Mom, I was right behind him. But I figured, he probably didn't want to see me. I never thought I could be this timid. In the end, all I dared to do was secretly look at him from a distance before he left. I completely cut ties with Calvin, but I didn't dare tell him, as if I still had some ulterior motive toward him. Calvin really did try to take his own life. Before, it had always just been words, but after I truly stopped responding to him, he actually did it. The doctor said his intention was only to scare me, he just didn't control himself well. From now on, he'll have to spend his life in a wheelchair. In the past, I probably would have chosen to take care of him, but after hearing the news, I didn't even feel the urge to go see him. I used to think boundaries were just something overly sensitive people made up, but in that moment, I finally understood. There's something a partner should have, and what does it matter that I understand it now? When I asked that question at the airport, didn't he already nod? Everything is too late, actually. That day at the airport, I secretly slipped a note into his pocket. It was something the staff asked me to write for him when we went to watch that last movie together. Originally, after the movie ended, I was supposed to hand it to him, just like the protagonists in the film, but that day, I was the one who chose to miss my chance. Maybe he saw it, or maybe he lost it. He's always been forgetful, but those words, I'll never be able to say them out loud in this lifetime. I love you, Patrick.